Welcome back to the Library Choice YouTube channel. Today we'll be learning how to make this lovely Bible or book sleeve. It's a very trendy sleeve and it's very simple to make. If this is what you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So this to make this sleeve is quite simple. It can come in different shapes and sizes depending on what you want. So in this tutorial I will just be showing us how we can get like 2 or 3 different sizes, different shapes. Okay, so it's called Bible sleeve or book sleeve because it just opened up like you're flipping the pages of a book. And to do this now, I'll be drafting on pattern so that the pattern will help me in cutting them out, because you will need many pieces to get this sleeve. Okay, so the first style that I'll be going for is like an oval shape. It's not going to be a full circle. So to get something even, I'm just going to be flipping my paper and folding them on into two. And this is the style that you will see on the thumbnail. So after folding it into two, now depending on the length that you want, I think I'll be going with around 7 inches, which by the time I fold it into two is going to give me 3.5 inches. Okay, so this is 3.5 inches, and then I want it to be wide. So the width at the midpoint is going to be around 2.5 or 3 inches, depending on what you want. So if I'm going for 3 inches, then it means it will be 6 inches wide in the middle, because this is going to be cut on fold. So once I have this now, I'm just going to shape it in a way that it will not be too round. Okay, you can use your free hand for this also. So once I shape this now, then I'm going to bring it, cut it out, and then see the shape that is giving me before I go ahead to transfer it to my fabric. Okay, so after cutting it out, this is what it looks like. Okay, and I think I like this. It's not fully round like that, it's just like a oval shape, which is fine for me. Okay, so now I'll be using this now to cut on my main fabric. But like I said, you can go with different styles. You can also go with a perfect square like this, depending on the sizes you want. So once you are going to, you just need to cut your square equally to have something like this. And then when you have something like this, you just fold this over here. That's after turning it with your lining. You fold it over, and then you start to sew. So you just need to cut many of these. By the time we start sewing, you understand this better, and I'll make reference to it again. So you just need to start sewing, and you can see that your sleeve will start forming. So if you're not going for a square like this, you can also go for something like a perfect circle like this. So you just cut your circle, turn it out, and then you start sewing it at the midpoint like this. Then it keeps following each other like that. Okay, so now let's go over to our fabric and then cut this out so that we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to be putting the fabric on fold like this, like I said, and this straight part is going to be my fold point. So I'm just going to place it on the fabric and then cut it out. So like I said, you need this pattern because it's going to be your template, because you are cutting many to form a full sleeve. So once you have this, it will help you to have something uniform. So I'm just going to place it like this and then cut it out on your fabric. So once you cut it out on your fabric and you open it up, you can see you have something full like this, like an oval shape. So now you are going to go over to your fabric now and keep cutting as many as possible. Okay, so we'll be using the same thing as our main fabric and lining, but you can decide to use contrasting color so that another color will just be showing underneath for you, depending on the style that you are aiming to achieve. Okay, so but for this tutorial, I'm using this shiny face fabric to do both the lining and the main fabric. And once I cut it out like this, I have two already, one for lining and one for main fabric. You can add stay or gum stay to it to make it really hard so that it can stand well if you want. But this is a tutorial, I don't think I'll be adding anything to it, but in your own case you can just iron gum stay to it, and you can see that I have exactly the same thing on both sides. It fits because I'm using a pattern. So now you are going to pin this now and then go over to the sewing machine and sew it round like this before we turn it out. So I've gone ahead to sew this now, and you can see that I sew it very tiny. But if you sew by maybe ½ inch or more, you may need to notch it because this is a circle, or you just trim the excess off. So after sewing it now, to turn it to the right side, I'm just going to try to locate the mid part of one. I'll pull it out and then cut it a bit tiny, like make a tiny incision there, and then I'll just open it up a bit for me, which is the one that will be enough to bring it out. So once I have something like this, I'm going to use that medium to pass it out and then turn it to the right side. So after doing this now, you go over to your fabric to cut as many as possible, depending on how full you want these sleeves to be, but it is very lovely if it is really full. So you just cut as many as possible that will fill your sleeve, and then you do the same thing that you did to this to all of them. So after turning it out like this, you bring it out and then you take it to the ironing table and then give it a very good press. But remember that I said what you can do to make this even stronger is adding gum stay or air stay to this, okay, so it can stand out well. So this is what you're going to be having at the end of the day, okay, something like this. So this now you can just sew it. Remember, it's in the middle. Once you sew it, it's not going to show. Yeah, okay. So I've gone ahead to cut quite a few, as we can see, and I've also ironed them flat. You can see how flat they are lined, but note that I don't have any air stay in this, so it's just fabric. So now to start placing them, you need to draft wherever it is that you want to place it. Usually off shoulder sleeve, but I think this can work with a full shoulder sleeve also. But in this case, the dress that we're attaching this to is like an extended shoulder, so I'll just be cutting like a straight fabric like this, that is enough to take the length that I have. Okay, so now using the arm round measurement, I think the arm round I'm working with is around 10 inches. I'll add 1 inch to it, 1 inch allowance, and that's going to give me like 12 inches. So on fold is going to be around 6 inches. So I'm just going to cut it like this, and this is where I'll be attaching this sleeve too. So now I'm going to be starting from the middle because I may not do a full sleeve. I'll just do what this pattern that I cut out can take. So now I'm notching it at the middle part, and I'm starting at the middle, then I'll go to the sides to see where it can reach. So now I'm just going to take it. Remember, it's not a full circle, so it's obvious. You will see like an oval shape, the starting point here and here. So on this starting point here, you fold it into two and press with your hand. You can also use an iron for this so that you will see your crease line. So once you see your crease line like this, or you just chalk it, you place it in the middle, and on that crease line you are just going to sew straight like that. Okay, so once you sew it down, you fold it over and you take the next one, you do the same thing, form your crease line, and then you sew just right beside it, like ½ inch is okay, or even ¼ inch if you have enough fabric. So once you place it beside it like this, you open that up also and then sew it. So I'll start to sew now. I'm going to use a contrasting thread so that we can see it well. So I've gone ahead to sew the first one on the crease line, as you can see, and you can see that even the incision that we made to turn it is no longer showing. So after joining the first one, you take another one, you do the same thing that we did for the first one like this, and then you just place it, you fold this over, fold the first one you did over, place it beside it, then you open it out, and then on this crease line also you sew it. And that is how we will continue to do it till we get to the end point. I hope you understand this. So I've gone ahead to sew quite a few, like I said, and this is around 12 different patterns. Okay, and then just like I said, I placed it side by side, and you can see that the spaces between each side is not too big, so that I can have something really full. So this is what I have. This is what this gave me, even without a dumpster, and you can see that it is even standing really nice. So the same principles apply. If you are going to be working with a square design, you are just going to be placing it wherever it is I want to place it, and then you sew it straight like this, and then it will stand. So it will keep following. Okay, so the design will just keep following each other like that. Okay, so you just keep placing it, and then they will stand depending on whatever it is that you want. So if you'd like to see a tutorial on this type of design also, you may let me know in the comment section, and we'll try to work on it. So now this is what we have, and like I said, this is just a tutorial, so I'll not be filling it up, but in your own case you should fill up the all the areas that you will need, so that you have something really full and beautiful. The sleeve is really actually very beautiful, and I'll take this to the mannequin now so that we'll see what we have. Okay, so this is our sleeve, and you can see how it just rolls over like that. That is why it is called the Bible sleeve, and it is really simple to make, and it is gorgeous. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, kindly give this a thumbs up, comment in the comment section, subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and click on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime we upload new videos. See you in the next one. Bye.